What's up, guys? So I've been commissioned to make this little mouse from somebody's book, Marcello the Massetti, and his whole thing is he works with cheese. So I'm going to be making a clay sculpture out of him. Originally when somebody commissioned me, this is the piece that they saw, which is my caramel chocolate biscuit. So I'm going to be making him, but a cheese version with a little red nose. Come along with me. I decided to do a tutorial just because most of the sped up videos I feel like you're not really learning anything from. And so yeah, maybe somebody wants to make a little mouse.
First we're going to start with the biscuit. I use this little container. Actually, you can use whichever circle you want to use, but I find this best to make my biscuit on. This is the color I'm going to start with as the base. This is my beige skin color tan and then a little bit of orange together, and I mix that up. So then I'm going to round this up and just set it right on top, give it a little press, and then turn around and press it into the table until I get my desired thickness. And if it's still not right, then we'll just press it down a little longer. And it's almost even. There we go. Now this guy can pop in off and on really easily, so it's super nice. So what we're doing is this bottom base, this biscuit. Here are my tools. I'm going to use this black tool to make the indents of the cracker. And the idea here was I was going for like a Ritz. And it's okay if you mess up or if you're not happy with like the angling. As you can see on this cracker, the mouse does cover some of the holes, so I don't always try to be as even as possible because it does get, I want the holes to be seen, and so I don't mind if it's a little off-centered. Then we're going to go with this tool, and I'm going to make these indents right here. That's how I just pressed it up. That's how I got that look. So here's our cracker, and I'm just indenting, and really the depth or like the size between each ones doesn't matter. I just go based off of what I feel, but it's definitely smaller than the pinky nail, as you could see. The other past crackers I've done, though, has had longer ones. So we'll just go around. I'm not pressing very hard. I'm just lightly pressing and then angling it over. Clay is pretty forgiving, but also it's very easy to indent, so you don't want to be putting like all your pressure into it. And if you feel like as you're making these that you know, some look a little different than others, you are making this by hand, so don't try to be a robot. Forgive yourself for, you know, learning and going through, and as time goes by you'll get better. It's perfect. I want to say that there was something else I used to texturize this. So there's that. And I'm going to make some of these a little bit longer. Looks a little better. And I believe last time I used this tool to texturize it to give it more of that grainy cracker feeling. And what I'm going to do is just lightly, very lightly, just roll it across. And you see how it gives that nice texture on there. Now these tools are not expensive. I actually got a whole kit off of Temu. It was about, actually it might have been Amazon. Either way, I spent under $20 for about 100 tools. So you don't need anything too fancy. And I've used these for probably a year now. They've worked perfect. You don't need to texture the bottom, but make sure you get the sides. And there we go. We got that cracker look. Next, what I'm going to do is take my brush tool. This is just a standard brush. Could even use like a makeup brush. And what I'm using is actual makeup, natural eye, pastels. And I'm going to choose the color that I want. I'm going to go for this, let's see, light brown. I have a lot on my brush, so I'm just going to take a little bit and dab that off just lightly, and then go around the edges to give it that toasted look. And you can add more as you go, but it's better to start light, that way you don't feel like you've messed up. Now the edges are good, however, I do want those inner pieces, so take the corner of your brush and just lightly poke. And lightly go in those corners. There we go. And if you don't like this like little brushed area, you can just use your finger and kind of blend it in a little bit. So there's my cracker.
Next I'm going to be making the mouse part himself. The fun thing about this is I do not remember how I made him, so I'm going to wing it and see if it works out like I remember. I try to always stay with a base shape, so circles and squares, and then add on. So I'm going to add a circle, almost teardrop for the head, and then a square for the body, and add on the paws and everything after. So take the desired color, I'm going to use this brown, and let's double check what Marcello's colors are. Marcello is a very light tan, so we're going to add some beige to this, and a little brown. Here's the two colors, and I flatten these, and then add it. I'm pressing down to blend these. Sometimes, depending on the size that you're blending, it can take you know, 1 to 5 minutes to really get that color all the way blended through. And you're just pushing it best as possible. You can do a little, like, I call it a taffy pulls. When you're making candies, you stretch as best you can and blend those colors. You can also use one of these tools and just place it down, give it a little roll out. It's really your choice of what you prefer. I just like blending them because it feels like soft Play-Doh. It's fun. So, okay, now I feel like we have more of Marcello's tan color. Alright, move my other colors out of the way. So I'm going to take my needle tool, I'm going to take a small amount. Make sure your tools are always clean. I just got blue everywhere. The last project I was working on that was blue, I want to say was this little tiny octopus. Look at him. He got color everywhere. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to take this color. I'm going to take his head, make a little ball. Here's the ball. Then just take your fingers and just lightly press. You're going to press down once. Use your other hand to press the other sides. So you're getting this teardrop effect. You can roll it here on the ground. So here's the little mouse head. Set that aside. Now I'm going to make a square with his body. And I gotta make sure the proportion's right, or else Marcello's gonna look like he's big-headed. We don't want that. Same thing, I'm gonna take this, roll it out. But now we're going for the body shape, which is square. And try and always do everything in shapes. That's gonna be the easiest way to understand when people are showing you like tutorials, or if you're making anything, or if there's not a tutorial out there and you want to make something. And so his body, you know, his rib cages are going to be back here, so I'm going to indent this just a little bit. You can use any tool. This guy, obviously it's dirty, it's well loved. Just going to give a nice roll and just give him a little rib cage, very lightly. See that small indent? It's like barely there. Then I'm going to press down because Marcello is laying on his cracker. And now that boy is thick. In order to add any clay pieces together, you can try scoring them, which is something you'll learn where you're just taking light indents. And this is going to allow the textures to add together. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. It's just a little added fun. Okay, so I'm going to take my square and Marcello's head, I'm pressing it together. There we go. Now we're going to go back to our cracker tool, this guy, and I'm going to blend back his head so that it is mended together. Can't have any heads rolling. Again, light pressure is better. It does not need to look perfect. You're going to go over this for the final, but just go once over and then clean it up. If you need to, you can also use your needle tool to mark what part is the top and what part is the bottom if you can't tell the difference of which side we press down. But you can tell that this has more of a lump to it versus this side, which was pressed into the ground. And lightly, you're going to take this tool and you're just going to slide it. And that's going to get that even texture. Just barely pressing. Okay, then I'm going to give it a quick little roll just to even out anything. Now you can kind of tell he's a little more even, however, I do still want Marcello's head to have an indent here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to lightly press, let's see. Use this as his head, lightly press down. Okay. Now I'm going to add Marcello onto his cracker, again scoring him. Polymer clay is usually a little more tacky though, so you don't always have to do this. It's just good to get in the habit though. It's kind of looking like a guinea pig a little bit. Mouses do have noses, so make sure you get a point in there. And if you need to, take this tool lightly under the chin and just give him some definition. Okay, he looks funny. Now we're gonna make his arms and legs. What you're gonna do is use that base body color. Just take a small amount and you're gonna roll it into a line, lightly pressing. You want 2 of these. One for the front legs, one for the back legs. And if you have to, you know, roll it into a circle, get it nice and even, and then just roll it out. So there's his front and back legs. Now we want this because we're going to take our needle tool and we're going to chop it in half. And then same thing. Okay. And his arms are just angled barely, as you can see on there. I'll start with his back leg. Just find that back hip area and press. Same thing on the other side. Back hip, press down, give a little pinchy pinch. Now you're going to use your needle tool and just very lightly press to blend it together. And if you find the needle to be too small, use the back of it and just lightly roll it. It's going to make a nice even crease, so no lines in there. Okay, other side. My dog decided to join me. She wants the attention, but she's not going to get it. Cutie pie. Okay, so we're going to continue to blend this out. And then we'll take the back again and just give it a little roll. Okay, he's got some back legs. He's kind of looking a little froggy. Now I feel like I need to do a frog cracker. We're going to extend that arm just a little bit because they are a little thinner. And with this, take your line and just bend it like into an L. Now you can tell that that has his arm shape. And just whoop, press it ever so lightly into desired area. Thin little arm. Again with the other side, give it a little L. Remember I talked about shapes, L's, squares, circles, letters, whatever you can use in your mind to make that shape a little faster. Then I'm going to blend it. And if you have long nails or anything and you find these little nicks happening, just leave them there. Don't worry about it until the very end, and then you can smooth it out. But you're going to do it a million times as you're sculpting, so there's really not a point to trying to be so fragile. Unless you're working on, you know, a larger project, then it's probably best to just file it down until you're done with the project. My nails were actually way longer than this and done, but they started to rip because I was lifting a lot of heavy things, and so I just cut them back. And it's good to keep two things I always have with me is cornstarch and baby oil. Cornstarch is to get things to not stick, and baby oil is to smooth out. Okay, so now Marcello has little arms. I'm going to take his first front arm and I'm going to press it down into the biscuit. And the other side into the biscuit, because we're still going to make little paws for him. Same with this back leg. Just press it down. Press it down. Okay. I'm going to take a beige plain color, not the color of his body. You want a difference because the paws never have any fur or anything on them, so it's not going to be the same color. Same with the ears. For this, you can take those lines, make them even. Cut them down. What you're going to do though is take your line, cut it. Now you're making both these into circles. The reason we make it into a line first and then cut it is so that those two sides are even. Little round paws. So what's going to happen here? If you notice one is larger than the other, just cut a little piece off. Add it to your old pile. Try again. Got the front paws. Might be the back paws, I don't know yet. Next one. Okay. So I want the, let's see, front paws to be longer than the back paws. So I'm going to take this guy, slightly press, use the back of your tool, press down, and then you can use the needle point and just blend it if needed. Blend it into the other part of the arm. It should be connected. Unless he's bionic, then I would still think it needs to be connected. That's going to be your first step, is just getting those two colors blended in. Same thing with the other side. Take the back, press down. Blending together. Very light pressure. It's always better to go lighter. The heavier you are, the more, you know, it's going to indent and spread. You can redo a light touch, but once it's pressed in there harder, it's going to be harder to correct. Then we're going to do his back legs. He's kind of looking like Mole Man a little bit. I like to make fun of my stuff while I'm working on them just because it's a little fun. Pass the time by. You know what I just realized? I kind of feel like Bob Ross. I'm like the Bob Ross of like the clay land. just put a nice little indent. Oh, it's a happy accident. I don't even think that, you know, I watched him a lot, but I think Bob Ross is just engraved in everyone's mind. I wonder how long these videos are going to be. I was trying to do a 10-minute tutorial. I've exceeded that though for sure. Just because I want people to take their time. There's no rush here. Now that I have this funky shape going on, I'm going to take the needle tip and I'm going to press directly into the center of the paw. And then press an angle, separate his toes. I don't really know how many fingers mice have. However, this is a cartoon character, so I'm just going to give him 4 little fingers on his paws. And they're fragile, so be careful. Center again, press down. Next side, little indent. Other side, indent. Okay, now I got front paws, back paws. Why do I feel like he looks like Mole Man, you guys? Why is he Mole Man? Taco, stop. She's loud back there. And if there's a corner like this, we'll give him a little indent right here. So he has something to connect to. And just lightly, ever so lightly, press into that. Okay, so you can see his tail is connected. Now, like this guy, I want to angle his tail. So, I'm going to make a little shape right there, like an upside down question mark. If you need to pull just lightly to get more length, you can. My dog's having a dramatic fit in the background, sighing because she doesn't have attention. There we go. So we got his shape of his tail, his bootylicious over here. Okay. I think this mouse is a little larger, and that's okay though, because the cracker is also larger though. I wanted him to be, this is a keeper piece, and this one's that I'm actually selling, so I didn't want it to be the same size. We're gonna do his ears next. This has little ears. What you're gonna do is take that normal color, roll it out, cut it in half, and we're gonna make a ball with both sides. Now I'm gonna take this tool, and I'm gonna take the ball. I'm going to press it lightly in my hand to give it the width that I want. Then I'm going to take this in the center and just press it down. And then press one more time with your fingers. This guy is going to be the hardest part because it is very thin, very fragile. Next, take it at the very bottom part and roll it around like you're trying to make a flower petal. So now you got this texture going on here. Maybe even you could say a tiny taco, right? A little taco shape. Press it into the side of his head. And just slightly press down. And then angle these bad boys together. Now he's got an ear. Same thing on the other side. Press down. Give it a little texture, circle hole. Oh. Oh my gosh, so hard working with these tiny, tiny shapes. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Give them an ear. Taco, be quiet. And sometimes you'll notice if it's too thin, you're going to get this crack. Press it down, then we're going to blend it together. You can always fix these, trust me. If you really feel like you have it too thin, just add more clay. Luckily though, we're just blending that into itself. I don't know if I like this shape. I think this one might be too small. No? That's a good size. Okay. Now that you have it blended, give a little zhuzh. Okay. Here's his ears. Now we're going to need to make the eyeballs. So you're going to take this tool and you're going to indent into both sides of his little brain. Boom. Another one, boom. And then his nose right there. Now, I'm working with two different colors here. So I'm going to work with the red first because red comes off the hands easier. Marcello has a red nose. We're going to roll it out. This is all you need. Very, very small size. Make a little circle. Almost like Rudolph. We're going to press that red nose into the little mouse. And just press down lightly. Now, my Marcello, or my mouse, has teeth, but the customer does not want that, so we're just going to do a little indent right here to give him a little smile. And I notice right here, there's a little blurb, so I'm going to take this and just blend those colors together. Boom. Okay, so my hands are covered in red. I'm going to use my napkin and just take that off real fast. Next, we're going to work with black. Black does not come off the fingers, so use that for last. Little line, cut it in half, circle it. It's gonna be his eyeballs. Oh, I separated those together. Gotta be careful working too close together. Now the eyes can be tricky because the size, so just start with the size and see if that's the right. If it's not, then just take them back out. This one's a little bigger, but press. Got that little face. Now again, black, take your napkin, make sure you get that all off of your area so it doesn't blend together with anything. I'm not happy with his mouth, so I'm going to go back in and just give a little more texture. I want him to look like he's smiling, he's happy, he's on a cheese mission. There we go. Okay, I'm going to give his head a little more of a tilt upwards. Okay, now I've got Marcello the mouse. And now we get to make Marcello's cheese. So I'm gonna go with yellow. And this is like Kraft mac and cheese yellow or cheddar yellow. You can use whatever yellow or type of cheese of your dreams. Where these little chocolate pieces are is going to be where I put the cheese on him. Let's see. I'm going to make a circle to get it even. Then I'm going to pinch. The video stopped recording and I have no clue when it stopped, but we're working on cheddar. That also sounds funny. Okay. I'm going to use the back of this and make it more of a square. If you find that this is becoming too tacky, just add some cornstarch. Okay, I've got this nice cheesy block. And I know that cheddar doesn't always have like the holes in it, right? That's like a Swiss cheese thing. Personally, I just think it looks more like comical, like cartoony, and I like that look. I don't know if it's accurate, but obviously this doesn't look like a real life mouse, right? So that's fine. And then we're going to add one last slice of cheese onto Marcello's head. Let's see, I just want a small slice, nothing crazy. And then texturing his head. Okay, and there we have it. There is Marcello the cheese mouse. We'll bring up Marcello's photo. So there's his little red nose. Should I add the little white of his face? Oh, I should, huh? It needs to look like his character. Hold on, let's see. Let's take the white here. And I'm just going to take the smallest amount and try and blend it into a line. Oh my gosh. Working with these smaller colors can be real hard. You don't want anything else in there. Clay can kind of act like paint too, so if you press light enough, you can get it to go where you want it. Does he look funny? Kind of looks like he's got whipped cream and a little cherry on top on his nose. There I go again with making comical jokes about my sculptures. Okay. I go to this tool to kind of blend that texture in. I don't want it to be all texturized. Okay, let's see. There we go. That's more Marcello's color. I'm gonna add just a little bit of blending with my brush tool. And I think this will be the last thing for him. Take a light beige and just add that together, and then we'll brush it off. Okay, and then blotch. His little eye. And there we have it. There's Marcello the mouse. Boom. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, just let me know.